Begin tonight with the president saying today that the Russia investigations are a form of mania cooked up by President Trump's opponents in an effort to undermine him. But it wasn't President Trump who said that. It was Russian President Vladimir Putin in his annual end-of-the-year press conference in Moscow. Putin praised President Trump, saying he has made a number of fairly serious achievements, and Putin called the Russia investigations delirium and madness.
This is all dreamed up by people who are in opposition to Trump, so as to make sure that everybody thinks that what he's doing, what he's working at, is illegitimate.
As you know, United States intelligence agencies are unanimous in this conclusion that Russia launched an unprecedented attack on the American electoral process during the 2016 presidential campaign and are almost certainly going to try to do it again. A clear threat to national security and American democracy, something the leader of a country under attack surely would want to address. But tonight there's new reporting from the Washington Post that says not only does President Trump continue to reject evidence of Russia meddling to support him, he doesn't even want to hear about it. According to the Washington Post, current and former officials say the president's daily brief is, quote, often structured to avoid upsetting him with intelligence related to Russia, sometimes just in the written assessment not brought up in the room. When former senior intelligence official told the Post that if you talk about Russia's meddling, it takes the briefing off the rails. Now, consider the implications of that for just a second. The people who briefed the President of the United States about a direct attack on this country have to be careful about what they say about the country that did it, because it will upset President Trump. Now, again, the meddling in this election isn't some conspiracy theory. All of the U.S. intelligence agencies say that it happened. So considering that and this new Washington Post reporting, it is worth looking again at what President Trump said to reporters last month after meeting with Putin. Quote, I just asked him again. He said he absolutely did not meddle in our election. He did not do what they are saying he did. He also said, every time he sees me, he says, I didn't do that. And I really believe that when he tells me that. He means it. But he says, I didn't do that. I think he's very insulted by it, if you want to know the truth. Now, one could take that as the President of the United States being more concerned with the feelings of Russia's president than the integrity of his own country's elections. But it's kind of a challenge to get a read on what the president meant, because listen to what he said the very next day. Now, keep in mind that this comment came, his first comment set off a firestorm of controversy. So this next comment came after that and has more than a whiff of damage control.
I believe that he feels that he and Russia did not meddle in the election. As to whether I believe it or not, I'm with our agencies, especially as currently constituted with their leadership. I believe in our intel agencies, our intelligence agencies. I've worked with them very strongly.
So, to be fair, that last statement does sort of track with what he said just about a year ago, just after he was elected, but with a caveat. First, here's that statement.
As far as hacking, I think it was Russia, but I think we also get hacked by other countries and other people.
Well, the new reporting in the Washington Post says the president immediately regretted saying what you just heard him say. His inner circle, according to the Post reporting, had been pleading with him to acknowledge Russia's interference in the election. But after he said that, January 11th, he reportedly told aides, quote, it's not me, it wasn't right. In May, intelligence leaders testified before the Senate Intelligence Committee.
As the assembled leadership of the intelligence community, do you believe that the January 2017 Intelligence Committee assessment accurately characterized the extent of Russian activities in the 2016 election and its conclusion that Russian intelligence agencies were responsible for the hacking and leaking of information and using misinformation in order to influence our elections? Simple yes or no would suffice.
I do. Yes, sir. Yes, Senator.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Yes.
It's been 7 months since those 6 yeses. Administration officials tell the Washington Post the president has never convened a cabinet meeting about Russian interference or what to do about it. Never. Not once. One former high-ranking Trump administration official tells the Post there's an unspoken understanding of the National Security Council not to raise the issue because that would acknowledge its validity, which the president would take as an affront. Keeping him honest, a threat to national security should trump one man's feelings, even if, especially if, that man is the President of the United States. Jeff Zalany joins us now from the White House. Has the White House responded to this Washington Post report?
Anderson, the White House did not officially respond to the Washington Post report. They went throughout the day without issuing any clarification or explanation. I did go to several administration officials here, asking them point by point about it, and they pointed me back to that piece of sound you just played a short time ago about the president's acknowledgement back in November in Vietnam during his trip there, saying that yes, he agrees with the U.S. intelligence community. Finally, what they did not comment on, and they, we asked them these questions, they did not respond to the fact that the president has gone months, in fact, almost a year, without acknowledging, as much as everyone in this town has, that Russia meddled in the election. But there is a sense here, this Washington Post sort of story lays bare a sense that we've heard for a long time here, Anderson. Why the president-elect and then president did not acknowledge this early on, start a blue ribbon commission or something of the kind, and say we are going to get to the bottom of this and then move on. Many of his Republican advisors think that would have been a better way to handle it, but he was always concerned about seeing his election sort of delegitimized. But at the end of the day here, at the end of this year here, this is all front and center here. But as for an official comment, the White House had none.